Hello everyone, welcome to GoTarryn TV. I'm Taryn, the traveling trainer with GoTarryn Personal Training, and today we're going to be having a returning guest right here on GoTarryn TV, the athletic director of Concourse Athletic Club with Wellbridge right here in Atlanta, Georgia, Ms. Catherine Luciano, aka Kat. And before we have Kat come on here, I'd like to invite everyone out there, if you'd please be so kind as to like our video, leave us a comment, and share it with all of your friends and family out there. Now, as you know, Catherine has come out and guest spoken with Georgia State University at my exercise science classes previously, and most recently, just last couple of weeks ago, we're going to be chatting with her and seeing how that went. And today she's going to tell us what the difference is between what it means to be fit versus healthy. I think that's going to be very interesting. We're going to be talking some nutrition. So stay tuned as we bring on Kat Luciano here on GoTarryn TV. And remember, with GoTarryn Personal Training, it's your time, it's your investment, it's your life. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back, everybody, and as you can see side by side, we do have the athletic director of Concourse Athletic Club with us once again, Ms. Catherine Luciano. Kat, how are you doing out there today?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
Very good, thank you, and thank you so much again for your time, not only being here today with us, but also obviously a couple weeks ago coming out to Georgia State University again and doing the guest speaking that you did just so brilliantly, and we really enjoyed that. I had a great time despite the crazy rain and weather, but you still made it out, and we really thank you so much. So what did you think of that class, and what was, you and I didn't get to talk too much right after that happened, but that was a great class. You did a very good job, like always.
Well, thank you. It was a lot of fun, and of course, yeah, the weather was fun, because would it put me there, I don't know, 20 minutes later, something like that. But once we got going, it was a lot of fun. That's a good group. And then I think we had fun doing Pilates. I don't know how much they liked it.
Oh, they loved it. Yeah, they really liked you a lot. They told me that they really enjoyed it. And as always, I hope you continue to come out and do that for us, because hopefully it's beneficial to you and Concourse, that maybe it's a pool of students to kind of look through in terms of bringing on interns, personal trainers, or what have you. But there's a lot of good, kids there, and again, that's great. Hopefully it could be mutually beneficial and synergistic, so both Concourse and Georgia State benefit from it, as well as the kids, of course, too. And I have a lot of fun. I mean, I really enjoy watching you in action, and the Pilates class that you did with them, they were sore. They were telling me they were really sore afterwards. Their abs were, they came in, the next time, and they were saying that they were really, really sore. That was a good, hard workout. So, and you told me that was like not even a full class, too, I think.
My gosh, we did like 10 minutes. That's
right.
No, we usually do 60.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what they were saying, that they couldn't imagine doing. So that's a credit to you. Some of those maneuvers I was really impressed with. I don't know if I could do that one where you roll back and then roll up on your feet. I didn't want to try that and embarrass myself. So
it's so much fun. That's the fun of it.
Well, next time I'm going to get down there and try it, I'll come out there to Concourse and take a class, because I've never done a Pilates class before, actually, believe it or not. I never have.
Yeah, it's really good. It's so great to really find your core. So many people want ab training and core training and stuff, and I don't feel like there's anything better than Pilates in terms of training your core and knowing how to move your body efficiently and things like that. So it's good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's so different, too. Like, for example, like when you're having them do the crunches and you're making them do them real slowly and methodically, holding the contraction, engaging their abs, and like you mentioned, if you're doing 50 crunches or 100 crunches, that means we're not doing something right. And that was really impressive, those slow bicycle crunches you had them doing. And I mean, I was watching, and thank God I was able to just video record, not have to be down there and again make a fool of myself, because I would have been struggling, I think. I'll be honest. But those videos came out great. Did you get to see some of them too? Did they come out all right?
I did. Well, I can't remember if I saw a video, but I definitely saw the still shots, and that was fun. Maybe I did. Okay. Because we're all sent together, and so it was definitely fun. And it would have been great to take them through a full class, but I don't know if they could have done it.
Next time, yeah, we're going to give it a try, seriously. That'll be great. So, yeah, in the fall, I teach the next class in August, so I'll definitely be calling you up and seeing if you're available. But also, obviously, today, available to come on here and jump right into talking about what I think, I like what you said, the difference between healthy versus fit, And you kind of went into telling the students a little bit about your backstory of, getting into exercise and personal training and kettlebell training and everything else you do. I thought that was really fascinating. I thought that'd be really neat to talk about and kind of focus on that today. And then also your passion for nutrition, of course, too. So why don't you take us through, Kat? I'll let you take the floor and just start it off. Like, where does the story begin for all the people out there who haven't heard this?
Well, I will try to kind of summarize the best I can because the story actually started in probably 1995. So it's been a long time. And so again, I'll just try to stay concise where I can to get into the meat of sort of the nutrition stuff and what's come more recently. But I got into fitness because of nutrition originally. So that was my original passion. I mean, I went through college not really knowing what I wanted to do. And after college, I started working with a couple of friends and at an incorporation company. And this was back in Delaware. And I was sitting at a cubicle all day, like a lot of people do. And I just kept thinking to myself that this is fine. And it was fun working with my two best friends, but it's just not, there's no passion about it. I definitely wasn't what I was passionate about.
Yeah.
And so I started realizing that what I really, really wanted to do was find out more about nutrition. My family has diabetes in its background. And when I was 20, I was diagnosed with vasculitis. And again, long story short, they did not know what was going on. They didn't know where it came from and how it all happened. But it ultimately led to me needing a kidney transplant, which happened 9 years after when I first got sick.
Wow.
So 9 years later, I got the kidney transplant. And of course, during that time, I've always played sports. I have two brothers. We've always been active and played sports. But to really like go to the gym and work out, that kind of started in high school. And then of course the fitness obsession hit. You have to be fit and you have to have abs and you have to have muscles and and I'm kind of the opposite of most females. I think most females love to do cardio and I'm really about the weights.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, so I'm finding fitness and at the same time I'm leading to needing the kidney transplant. And I was finding that, as I talked to fitness people, what they were telling me I needed to do did not match with what doctors were saying I needed to do in terms of how much protein. And so ultimately, really what I'm saying at this point, though, is that it really fed my desire to keep learning about nutrition.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so I got my kidney transplant and I was becoming a certified personal trainer and I taught Pilates at the time. And so I'm already fully ingrained in fitness, and when you get a kidney transplant, a lot of times the incision and the kidney go in your abdomen.
Mm.
And so as a Pilates instructor, it's funny that we just did Pilates because of the way this ties in now.
Mm-hmm.
But as a Pilates instructor, with an incision in your abdomen, almost like a C-section, but it's kind of more diagonal in the abdomen. It's obviously hard to sit up or have the strength to, do anything core related, if you will.
Yeah.
But I was back in the gym 2 weeks after my transplant and teaching Pilates in 4.
That's amazing.
Just be careful with my movements.
That's incredible.
It really was, and I didn't realize it at the time. I'm like, oh, I don't know, I'm fine, I'm cool, I'm good. And but anyway, okay, so the whole piece of it for this story really comes down to my fitness career took off. So after I became a trainer and I moved to Georgia. I became a manager and climbed the ladder in terms of, regional manager and things like that. So everything was fitness.
Uh-huh.
And I really didn't do much more with the nutrition because I knew what I needed to know, or at least I thought I did. So, okay, so we're going to fast forward a whole bunch of years. And I started getting into group fitness classes because as I oversaw group fitness, in one of my positions, I was overseeing personal trainers, group fitness, Pilates, and even like yoga, mind, body stuff. So I ended up starting to teach a class. And this is where everything kind of happened, but I didn't even realize it until a year ago. So I started teaching a really high intensity cardio kickboxing class. It was like an MMA style, which was pretty intense, high intensity fitness class. And I'm super lean. I was the picture of fitness. My best friend and I, we taught together and we would trade off and we went and got our body fat tested. And I distinctly remember having this thought of, oh, you know what? I really want to be like 16% body fat, and don't ask me where we all get these numbers from, but I'm like, I want to be 16%. So we get our body fat tested, and I think I was like 18% or something like that at the time. And I thought, well, if I'm 18 now, I must want to be 14, right? Like it's never good enough. But so meanwhile, I'm teaching this class with my best friend. And then I started teaching by myself. And as I taught this class, this high intensity class, and when you have to talk through the entire class, it makes it that much more intense. And I was realizing how crappy I felt. So I didn't have the energy to make it through the class, or I would get to the end of the class, and the rest of the day I had a headache. And I would try. She taught a dance class, and I would try to go attend her dance class more for supporting her. But her class was a ton of fun. But I didn't have an ounce of gas in the tank. And I'm yawning, and I'm trying to follow the class, and I'm going, something is really wrong.
Right.
And so I was having more coffee and then less coffee, and I was just trying to put things together, eating more, eating less. The night before, what was I doing? I'm trying to play with the different variables to figure out, how can I feel better? This doesn't seem right. I'm so fit, right? So, and of course now I have all these doctors because I have a kidney transplant, and I have to take medication for that, and so I see doctors all the time. So I'm telling my kidney doctor, I don't feel good. I'm feeling like maybe I have adrenal fatigue. Okay, I feel like I've talked to people who say that they've had adrenal fatigue, and I'm like, maybe that's what this is, and so I'm listening to what other experiences have been and things, and the doctor just doesn't agree. And I'm not sure the audience for your blogs here, but a lot of general public people, I've heard it again and again, when you feel like crap and the doctors can't find anything wrong, that's when you kind of get really frustrated. And so
it's true.
So again, to try to make it a little more concise too, it's no one could tell me that anything was like really wrong. But that there's something wrong, and to not have the energy and all that stuff. Okay. So my blood pressure is starting to go up and go up and go up. And I was really stressed at the last job that I had. So what I decided to do, let me put all these together because I think they're important components. My kidney doctor doubled my blood pressure medicine that I was taking, doubled it.
Wow.
Okay. My OBGYN took me off of my birth control pill. Okay. And I quit my job. So all three of those things happened roughly at the same time, within a couple of weeks of each other.
Wow.
And I went on a 2-week vacation before starting the new job. Okay. So if you can imagine what happened was my blood pressure tanked, right?
Wow.
I quit my job. I'm not taking one pill anymore that supposedly maybe was a part of the increasing blood pressure. And my doctor doubled my blood pressure medication. So I go on vacation 2 weeks long, and my blood pressure goes, bottoms out. Okay. So now I don't know what exactly was it that was causing all of that. Of course, now I know it's just stress in general. And when you take pills, and when you are killing yourself with exercise, and you don't have proper nutrition, and you're taking things that we shouldn't take, like blood pressure, I will say blood pressure pills, blood pressure, birth control, all these different things, that we just take for granted. We take them because the doctors tell us to. All of that kind of stopped at once. I felt amazing. I cut back on my blood pressure medicine. I started a new job, which of course is stressful, but in my head, I felt like I had left a lot of the stress from the old job, right? Okay, so things kind of improve, but not too much. And I'm going, okay, something's still wrong, right? Something's still wrong. So ultimately, okay, I'll save you some of the details, but a year later, almost to the day, a year later, I say the crap kind of hit the fan. And so I had another big issue. And the issue pretty much was I had skin cancer on my scalp. I had a female problem that required a surgery. And just like all these things started happening, and they were kind of all happening around the same time. And I'm thinking back and I'm going, this has been a year since I stopped kind of all this other regimen. So I'm like, okay, there's got to be some kind of connection. What is going on? I didn't have any answers at the time. One thing I left out as well is for a few years, at that point, the bad year, for a few years leading up to that, I had also switched to be a vegetarian.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yep.
important.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know it. I thought vegetarian, like I'm going to be that much healthier. Because you can find plenty of information out there right now about plants and, people that switch to vegetarian diets. And the only thing I have to say for my own story is I realized that that was a contributing factor to the problems that I was having. So
Mm-hmm.
now this leads me to last year where I made this discovery of what's going on. So last year I happened to be getting a massage here with one of our massage therapists at the concourse.
Mm-hmm.
And she just mentioned to me almost in passing, because I was telling her about some of the stuff that was going on. In passing, she kind of mentioned, you need to get this book. So I went and got this book, and I read the book. And as I'm reading the book, I felt as if my jaw is hitting the floor, every couple of pages. It really resonated with me, and
Mm-hmm.
and it changed everything for me. And not that I just read the book and took everything word for word, like, oh, this person just knows everything, right? And oh my God, I'm changing everything that I do. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
that. It was as I read it, I felt she did a great job kind of explaining why in the fitness industry we believe what we do and how it's leading to exactly everything that I was experiencing. So of course
Mm-hmm.
that's going to pique your interest, because if it hits you at the right time and you relate to it, you're more open to kind of listening to that.
Yeah.
So what happened is at the end of it, I started checking out her resources of where this information came from.
Mm-hmm.
And I started doing further studies and talking more to that massage therapist that led me to it, and putting the pieces together. It made perfect sense to me. And ultimately we could say now I've changed everything. But the name of the book is called How to Heal Your Metabolism, and it's by
Mm-hmm.
Kate Deering. Kate's personal story is that she had a similar thing as I did.
Mm-hmm.
She was a fitness professional. She was here in Atlanta. She oversaw a bunch of fitness places, fitness studios, fitness facilities here in
Yeah.
Atlanta. And picture of fitness, teaching classes, personal trainer, like the same type of thing. And then she was realizing how she was feeling crappy and
Hmm.
she didn't have energy. And I think she started gaining weight, and, these things that don't make sense. As a fitness professional, you're feeling like I should be able to fix this, change this. This is what I do for a living.
Yeah.
And nothing was working.
Mm-hmm.
And so, of course, that sounded exactly like what was going on for me. So, again, resonated for me and made me kind of perk up and listen and do my research.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, so now I say that I now know the difference between fit and healthy, because I was always fit, but I was not healthy. And what it comes down to is really stress, and stress is everything, right?
Hmm.
Stress is financially, do you have enough money to pay for your needs and then your wants?
Mm-hmm.
What are your relationships like? What is your sleep like? What is your nutrition? Because that's the gas in the tank,
Mm-hmm.
what is your mental status? And all of those things go into stress. And then the next step to that is, how do you deal with that? Some people are better than others at dealing with stress. And for me, physically, obviously, I already have a kidney transplant where I have to take certain medications. And I already have a lot more stress at my age than other people do, that are of my age or maybe even older,
Hmm.
And I feel like I consider myself to be a high stress person.
Hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
always find myself in these high stress jobs, and of course, we all go through these different periods of, like, relationships are good and then they're not good. And as we get older, we're looking for more and more things to be a part of, and how do we make more friends at this age, and, make sure that our lives are full and enriched. And so it's different for everyone. But ultimately, in the fitness world, I feel as if now we're kind of getting it wrong. We're
Hmm.
feeding our bodies with things for the physical look.
Uh-huh.
But what that look is pretty much starvation, right? So
Yep.
we don't eat enough. We're not eating the right things. We eat a lot of foods that actually slow down the thyroid and slow down the metabolism.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Mm-hmm.
we're working out like harder than ever, right? The trends are high intensity interval training,
Yep.
right? What doesn't
Yeah.
kill us makes us stronger. That's the whole mentality of the day. And so we're doing more and more and more. I see members here that are here 2 and 3 times a day,
Wow.
exercising as hard as they can. They look amazing, right? Everybody wants to look like them. And just ultimately, I wonder what internally they're dealing with or what they're going to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
And, at the moment, if you feel and look good, of course, you're happy with where you are. And I
Yeah.
completely get that. But down the line, are we sure that diabetes and fibromyalgia and cancer and all these things that we're spending all this money looking for, are we sure that we just haven't been doing that to ourselves? So, and there's two types of people that I feel like are being affected. It's not just the ones that don't look healthy, but it's the ones that look super healthy, right?
Yeah.
So, so either way, it's changed everything about my nutrition and how I'm working out at the moment. As a matter of fact, I haven't even worked out in the last 4 weeks other than a couple of yoga classes. So I'm allowing my body to heal. And that doesn't mean that that's how everyone will heal. But, I love the fact that at this point there is an objective thing to measure to let you know if you're healthy. And it's, and I'll throw in there that in August when I started this, I've seen the transformation from then to now. And so by taking your temperature and your pulse rate when you wake up, before you go to bed, before and after workouts, 20 minutes after your meals, it's some insight into what's my status now? Is my metabolism going good, or am I, on economy fuel kind of putting along? And then how is the food that I'm taking in, how is that affecting my body? What is it doing for me? Is it hurting or is it helping? And so looking at temperature and pulse, that will tell me whether or not I'm getting the right combination of protein, carbs, and fats, or if my nutrient timing is right. If the food that I just ate is working for me or against me, right? So it has really changed everything. And what I found is if you make all these changes really quickly, you're probably going to have a negative effect. And actually that goes back to what you and I were talking about in that class that night too, is we were talking about the general adaptation syndrome. And initially, when you apply a new stress, you could have a down phase, right? Like it could be negative, soreness after a workout, potentially feeling bad. And then you start to feel better, right? So I did have a negative effect. Although I've seen my temperature and pulse correct themselves for the most part. They're much more level, which means that my blood sugar's level, and my meals nourish me now. And taking time away from workouts that were real high intensity and kind of killer workouts. Again, like it's just helping me. I sleep better. I can see everything kind of recovering in that way. And there was one other thing that I was thinking too. Oh, this is what I wanted to say. So because I did end up applying everything too quickly, I recently hired Kate, the one who wrote the book. I've hired her for 90 days of nutrition counseling. And under her, because what I did, and apparently she did it too, I applied everything. I thought I was doing it kind of slowly. I ended up gaining 17 pounds. And for my size and being in the fitness world, like that's mental stress beyond, like you can't, I can understand people's, dire need, right, or desire to lose weight. You get kind of, you'll do anything. You'll do anything. And so I thought, well, I've got to do this right. And I thought I was learning, what to do. But let me hire her and see what's going on here. So by having her now in my corner, week by week, I am now losing weight and feel great, sleep better. And as a matter of fact, last week, I was able to take myself completely off of my blood pressure medicine, which is nearly unheard of, with a 15-year transplant. I'm approaching like 14, 15 years now. And so it's unheard of. But my blood pressure is now regulated. I don't need that pill anymore.
Perfect.
So what I've witnessed and seen, experienced, is it's astounding to me. And how can you not now change your mentality on the things that we think are true in the fitness world?
Kat, that is amazing. What a story. That's powerful. Everything you just talked about. And Kate, what was her last name, Catherine?
Deering.
Okay.
Deering. Kate Deering.
And
the
book
it's called
was
How to Heal Your Metabolism.
Yeah, perfect. So we'll have to look for that. That's available, I assume, on the Amazon or any of those.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It is, and it's based on the teachings and writings, obviously, of a lot of people, but some of those significant people are Ray Peat, Broda Barnes, who's a cardiologist.
Yeah.
So the studies are there in terms of what the science is behind the nutrition that has, changed for me.
Yeah.
But also what I found interesting was the reasons why we didn't listen to them and why we believe something else, such as like why coconut oil is so great. But we always thought saturated fat was bad, and that liquid oils and polyunsaturated fats were good, and they're actually extremely inflammatory. So those types of things. It's definitely, you'll have to be able to expand your mind and be open-minded. Otherwise, it is a kind of a 360-degree look from where we are now and what we believe. So, you have to be ready for that.
No, that's amazing. And like you said too in class that everything's changing. Like that goes back to what you talked about a couple weeks ago when you said that what we know now, who knows, 10, 15, 20 years from now, studies will show that, well, this has changed or this is the new, as opposed to 15, 20 years ago before when we were to believe, some other concepts that now we know aren't the best. So that is good that takes a whole 360-degree encompass perspective and viewpoint for everyone to kind of look at. I definitely want to get a copy of that book, and that's really cool that she's out of here in Atlanta, Georgia. I didn't realize that. That's really neat.
She's not here any longer now. She's in California, but
gotcha.
It was almost like, oh my gosh, like she has my same story.
Yeah, that's
minus
the same symptoms and signs. Like and like you said too, the stress. That's something that you pinpointed that's something else that I think they definitely need to look into, and that is amazing that her story was the same as yours too. Because what you said earlier too, you're absolutely right. There are so many people all the time. I can't count how many people that come and say, "I've been to the doctor. They can't find out what's wrong with me." And it's for some reason, I don't know if this is correlation, but it's always women. At least that's my experience. It's always women that I see that have. Doctors tell me that I'm just maybe I'm going through some whatever thing and blah blah blah, but they can't ever get to the bottom of it. But you're right. That's very very common. So I'm really happy that worked out for you, and you're very successful in being able to turn that around. And you get to share that story with so many others, and you can help your other clients and all of your class participants and members at the gym and everything turn that, if they have a similar story with the same symptoms, they come to you and you could share that with them. That's a strong testimonial. It's very powerful. But Kat, again, that's amazing. This 30 minutes flew by so quickly. I'm watching the clock really quickly here, and I want to make sure I get you out on time. Before we let you go, I want to say I really enjoyed that. And let's definitely have you back on again, please, very soon. But after watching you in action, I definitely want to do a personal training session with you and have you run me through, because I think I can learn a lot from you. That'd be a lot of fun. I need to come out there to Concourse. I said that last time, and I do mean it this time now. Let's definitely set up a date, and I'll come out and visit you guys. I need to come out. It's been too long. But before I let you go, Kat, the last question I have, what are the best ways people can reach out directly to you and contact you and learn more about you, and if they want to, get to know you further and connect with you personally?
Sure. So they can reach me at my email is cluciano@wellbridge.com, or you can reach me by phone 770-698-2081. But you can come by Concourse too, and we can meet here.
There you go. www.concourseclub.com. That's right. Excellent. Very good. The King and Queen building. Well, Kat, that was an amazing story. Again, I really enjoyed it. That half hour flew by really fast, and I'm glad we got to sneak that in here. Thank you again so much for your time and being able to grace us here. Let's get you back next month if you're available for another one of these shows, and then also, obviously, in the fall semester if you're available and free. I'd love to have you come out and get with the GSU students again, too.
Absolutely.
Perfect. All right, Kat, we'll let you go. And as we fade to black, everybody, here comes Kat's contact information one more time.